Wouldn't it be great if your high yield savings account had a guaranteed minimum rate for a full year? Or even a step further, wouldn't it be great if your higher yield certificate of deposit would allow you to take your money out at any time without having to lose any money due to having all the penalties? This happens to be that gray area where no penalty CDs are your next best option. Or if you want your emergency fund to be set aside in a safe spot working for you, but also available at a moment's notice, then a no penalty CD is a perfect safe haven for your cash. Hi everyone, Brian here. In today's video, I'll be showcasing the top 5 no penalty CDs that are available today. It's true that there's a lot of speculation about a recession for 2023, but there's also a lot of hype about a major rebound in the stock market. If you have a large amount of money in the bank, then you really aren't making much money on interest. But then again, if you put all your money into CDs or treasuries, then your funds are going to be tied up where you can't really invest that money back into the market when it begins to rally. Well, you could, but the early withdrawal fees or the discounts necessary to sell them on the secondary market, well, let's just say it's going to cost you a lot of money. We are living in that moment where this is the perfect scenario for where no penalty CDs should start to begin to be part of your portfolio. Because with a no penalty CD, you tend to have a higher rate than a high yield savings account. And of course, it's much lower than a regular CD. Thus, the name no penalty CD. I should probably give a little background on the regular CDs before getting into the details of no penalty options. A typical certificate of deposit is offered by banks and credit unions where you purchase one for a set period of time like 12 months, 2 years, etc. The rates are typically better than a high yield savings account, but they often fall well behind the stock market. But when the stock market is performing poorly like today, then a CD is a great alternative to invest your money where you know it has a guaranteed return for a set period of time. However, if you choose to withdraw that CD early, you typically have multiple fees and penalties associated with it, like forfeiting a large portion of the interest, or if you cash it in too early, you may actually lose money in the process. I cover all of the details on regular CDs and the best options for buying them in this video in case you want to learn more. Before going into each of the no penalty CDs, I want to cover the criteria and the disclaimer across all of these CDs. I am only showing no penalty CDs that are covered either by FDIC or NCUA insurance up to $250,000 per account. In addition, there is no option for partial withdrawals from a no penalty CD. It's all or nothing. And lastly, these CDs don't allow you to bump up or add to the CD after you've made the initial investment. Now that you're on the edge of your seats ready for those no penalty CDs, I need to ask a favor of you. If you like my content, please help out by pressing the like button to help my channel grow here on YouTube. I'd also love it if you'd consider subscribing so you can be up to date with all of my latest content. Alright, with that covered, I'll jump right in with the number 5 no penalty CD, which is from Marcus by Goldman Sachs at 3.5% with a 13-month maturity, and the CD has a minimum deposit of $500. The no penalty CD from Marcus is a bit different than most CDs in that it does not have a typical grace period after the CD matures where you can decide what you want to do. Instead, they allow you to change your decision for what you want done with the CD right up until the day before it matures. You need to make your choice and enter that into their system before that maturity date. But since it's a no penalty CD, if it accidentally renews for another 13 months, you could simply wait the 7 days after the deposit or the renew date and then simply withdraw it penalty free. Some people may argue that the rate of 3.5% barely keeps up with high yield bank accounts, and they would be correct. But the difference is a high yield bank account can also drop their rates multiple times over the next 13 months that you are technically holding that CD for. With most everything in life, you're going to have a little bit of give and take where you need to balance out your risks and your rewards. Now on to the fourth option from, well, it's more of a tie between Ally and Synchrony. They both offer an 11-month no penalty CD with a 3.5% return. Neither of these banks have a minimum deposit requirement on their no penalty CDs, which is a huge bonus. In both cases, if you happen to bank with Synchrony or Ally, then the ease of access and not having to set up a separate account just for the CD makes them both fantastic options for their no penalty CDs. In addition, Ally provides an added bonus where you can get an extra 0.05% if you choose to renew the CD at maturity, meaning that you don't cash it out and you let it renew for another 11 months. And adding just a few more details, currently the high yield savings account at Synchrony is at 3.75%, and for Ally it's 3.5%. And no, I am not getting paid from these banks to list out all these details. I'm merely trying to share out additional details to help you make better decisions. In my opinion, I would set Ally just a little bit above Synchrony for one reason, and that would be the product offerings from Ally are far superior. Ally provides the option for commission-free trading if you want to buy stock or ETF, and they also offer you loans. That may not seem like much, but it is 2 key areas that Synchrony, despite their higher interest rate, doesn't offer. Now on to the third no penalty CD offered by CIT Bank for an 11-month term at 3.9% APY with a $1,000 minimum deposit. And like most banks, you have a 10-day grace period from the maturity date to either cash out or renew your CD. The rate at CIT is quite a bit higher than the others, but it also has one of the highest minimum deposits. If you already bank with CIT, this is an ideal place to get your no penalty CD. That and their high yield savings account is currently at 3.85% APY. I only wish that CIT Bank also offered investing on their website too. But overall, between their bank rate and their no penalty CD rate at 3.9%, this is a great option for both having your bank and buying your no penalty CD. Next, I'm covering the second no penalty CD offered by Sallie Mae with a rate of 4.25% for 10 months. And the CD has a minimum deposit of a whopping $1. The CD is from Sallie Mae, but it's offered from the website called Save Better. I've had several people ask me about the Save Better website and whether or not they're legit. And yes, they are. Even though you are buying the product on the Save Better website, the transaction of the CD is still being made with Sallie Mae. And no, once again, I am not getting any funding from Save Better or any of the institutions on this video. As you can see in the product information sheet on the Save Better site, the CD is offered by Sallie Mae, where the interest rate is compounded daily and credited on the last day of each month. I also like how it spells out that if you withdraw the funds early, then the interest is credited through the date of the withdrawal. However, there is one downside with this Sallie Mae no penalty CD. All the other CDs I've reviewed today can't have their funds withdrawn for the first 6 or 7 days after the purchase. But in this case, you can't withdraw the funds from the Sallie Mae product for the first 30 days. This is one of those gray areas that I mentioned at the beginning where you have to balance out the higher rate with knowing that your funds are truly going to be locked out for the first 30 days. Whereas the other options do have lower rates, but you're only locked out for the first 6 or 7 days. For many of you, that may not be that big of a deal, but I do want you to have full transparency on the difference in these products. And the next no penalty CD to cover is also from Sallie Mae via the Save Better website with the CD rate at 4.4% for 14 months. And just like the prior CD, it has a minimum deposit of only $1. And just as before, the interest is compounded daily and deposited monthly. In this case, a 4.4% APY for 14 months is extremely good for also having the flexibility to withdraw your funds at any given moment with no penalty or fee. If you want a safe haven to plant your emergency fund slightly out of reach from your typical bank accounts, the no penalty CD is a great option to consider. From all of the no penalty CDs that I've researched, Save Better and Sallie Mae have consistently been towards the top of that list. That wraps up today's video, and I hope you were able to get some good value out of today's content. Thanks so much for watching.